Welcome everybody in the room and online to this marine lunches seminar. And the second, okay. Yeah, first of all, I want to thanks, of course, Marie and all the other members of the Marine Lunches Committee for inviting me. And I hope you will enjoy this presentation. And also buon appetito, since marine lunch, in theory. Who am I? I guess that probably most of you already know me, but just a quick reminder if there is some new entries at Stockholm University. So I'm Francesco Masnadi, and I am a marine biologist specializing in fish population dynamics and stock assessment. I did my PhD in, let's say, fishery management in Italy at the University of Bologna, collaboration with the CNR of Ancona. And during my PhD, I arrived in Sweden thanks to a period abroad at SLU, Havfiskelaboratoriet in Lysekil. And then I stay afterwards for a postdoc and a short-term position there at Stockholm University at DIP with Agnes Carlson Group, so with Marie, John, Joanna, and etc., other master students, lots of master students. One day Marie asked me if I would fancy to talking to the marine lunches about my recently published paper or maybe the EcoLoad project. And I said, yes, of course, why not? But then I realized that, my postdoc paper on the cyanobacteria stickleback interaction is now published, so everyone can go and read it, and in case come back to me with more questions and comments. And also the other paper on contaminant concentration in herring has been already quite discussed in details, probably even too much. No, I'm joking. During John Taylor Defense last September. And also the EcoLoad project is for sure interesting, but Marie herself is working right now, I think, on it. And for sure, she can talk it probably much more in details, maybe later in the future in another lunch seminar, maybe. So then I recall that also Marie said that this is intended to be, an easy, informal format for this seminar. So I was ingeniously thinking that instead of me talking and informing you about my past work, past life, why don't use this time to steal good ideas from you and have feedback on initiative, let's call it a scientific part of this initiative that I'm working on right now. And so here I am. But before diving into it, I must give you some, let's say, background information to help you understand why am I doing what I'm doing. If someone wants to leave the room now is the perfect moment. You're still in time. Otherwise, begin. So everything begins after me and my partner in life and in a crime, Astrid Kassen, that is also here, that you can see here in this picture, vigorously nailing her PhD thesis about fish and seaboard interaction in the Baltic Sea just this summer. So basically, we decided to move back home, or better, her home, to northern Norway. So just a few weeks later that this photo has been taken, we pack everything, our life into the car and to the trailer, as you can see, with the help of some friend like Enrico, thank you, and hit the road again. So we drove across Sweden. It's a very long way. I mean, we took 3 days, I think. And finally, we arrived home in this very, very small village that you can see here, that is overlooking this beautiful fjord system. And here we decide to try to combine the fjord wonders and beauty with opportunities, with new opportunities for research and innovation. So we created, we created this company, this startup called Terramare, Fjord or Gård, with the vision of combine eco-tourism with marine research. So the main goal is transforming, let's say, traditional type of holidays into meaningful experience to connect people and mainly, the visitors with nature, knowledge, and of course, a local community. So let me briefly introduce three concepts that, in theory, will help us turning our vision into concrete scientific project. So first of all, is marine recreational fishing, MRF. So we know that marine recreational fishery provide major economics and cultural value in coastal communities worldwide, and particularly here in Norway, where it's widespread among the locals, but also, most importantly, tourists. For example, here we have a very famous fishing camp in North Norway, in Lofoten. Maybe some of you also been there. But on the other side, there are also many challenges with marine recreational fisheries. For example, the ecological sustainability of it, also with the conflict with commercial fishing, at least in locally, and also substantial fishing impact on some coastal species like cod or sea bass or even lobster, for example. And moreover, the governance in Europe is relatively poor, I would say, and linked to several management issues such as the data gaps, complexity, of course, of collecting this data and design surveys and everything. All of this usually leads to the marine recreational fishery component not to be included in official stock assessment because of no reliable data available, or even no data available at all. So the second key concept is, of course, fishery science in general and the scientific advice system. Maybe already you know about this, but here I try to simplify it using these cartoons I adapted from Noah YouTube video. So yes, they have a YouTube channel, and it's also quite good, to be honest. But so basically, scientists collect the data from the so-called fishery independent data that are, for example, conducting very expensive scientific surveys at sea using a research vessel like Electra or Svea, for example. And then there are the other component that is the fishery dependent data, so basically the commercial catch. And these data are used to run then stock assessment models or actual combination of different methodologies, but for simplicity, we can just stick with stock assessment here. That, of course, provide advice that this advice, after being scientifically discussed and agreed upon, will help the manager to make the best decision, or at least we hope so, on future catches limits, like, for example, the quota system or similar. So yeah, very, let's say, simple, but very complex to put into practice, especially when the data you start from are, again, not really reliable or incomplete. That is the case, for example, for marine recreational fishery data. But luckily, there are some good news, promising approach to gather this data. For example, citizen science. So citizen science has already proven to be a cost-effective tool for generate valuable data on fish stock, while strengthening, of course, engagement, environmental awareness in the population, in the people. And on this, I have to say that Norway is a leader on this, using, for example, online and social media platforms, self-sampling, using smartphone tools like apps, and also having strong scientific collaboration with tourism operators themselves. So, but challenges, again, are always there. For example, low spatial temporal resolution of this type of data, declining participation rates, and also potential bias in traditional survey methods, like, for example, the one done by phone call or email questionnaire surveys, such as, this type. So, all of this leads to the need for more reliable data to support stock assessment and fishery advice. So, for example, standardized and continuous monitoring with possibly fine-scale spatial resolution, especially in extremely heterogeneous fjord system, like here. The need to enhance participation and compliance through innovative approaches, and of course the integration of these innovative novel approaches with the traditional, more traditional way and service. So it is in this context that we create and we are now developing our project that's called ACCESS-Fjord. So advanced citizen science, community engagement for ecosystem-based fishery management in the Sørfolda fjord. Very long. But the core idea is very simple. You can see is combine ecotourism, of course, focus on marine recreational fishery with real marine research, with the aim to generate scientifically accurate and useful data, while offering the visitors unforgettable and enriching experience, of course. So let me also have a very small digression on ecotourism itself. So I did not know before, but apparently there is an entire journal dedicated to it. That is, of course, named Journals of Ecotourism, with the impact factor of 2.45, something like this. So not even so bad compared to other, fishery science journals. So you never stop learning these things. But okay, anyways, basically we want to engage the citizen and visitors in year-round fishery data collection. I say year-round, but at least summer period. And while monitoring fish stock, ecosystem dynamics in our fjord. So to create standardized data set that can be used to support ecosystem-based fishery management, and of course, last but not the least, to foster collaboration between researchers, so the scientific community, the visitors, just normal people, and local community here. Maybe you're wondering why we choose this Sørfolda fjord system and not elsewhere. So, it is a very deep basin, fjord basin, more than 500 meters, with limited water exchange that cause strong seasonal variation in the surface temperature and salinity. It is a key habitat for several fish species, but in particular for the Norwegian coastal cod, because here the coastal cod has important spawning and nursery area, as you can see from this plot from this paper. There is little commercial fishing, at least nowadays, but lots of marine recreational fishery from the local community. There is a limited monitoring or research program in this fjord, as far as I know now, and 7 aquaculture sites that makes also this ideal place for studying, possible interaction and effect of aquaculture. And is a remote place, but still accessible, so it's perfect for citizen science. And there is a small vibrant community that peaks in the summer. And last but not the least, of course, because we live here, and you can see that it's a very beautiful place, and you have to trust me on this, but it's a very beautiful place. And so let's now dive into the workflow. So with the support of this, the same graph concept that I showed you before. So now on the top left, you can see instead of an expensive research vessel, you can see we will have a happy tourist enjoy some proper relaxing time at sea. Then below we have a maybe less happy tourist or student helping us measuring smelly and slimy fish. And again, if needed, probably we will also able to have access to some, let's say, more commercial type of data. But here I still wonder how is the best approach to deal with it. So maybe just take the official data, even though they are probably available on a bigger scale, and also, I mean, commercial vessel not really fishing inside this fjord, but they go out usually in the more open sea. Or yeah, maybe we can also just ask directly to the recreational and small-scale fishermen from this area. Yeah, since I mean, basically we know all of them, basically. So, anyways, at least the first two type of fishery independent data will be collected and fed into our Real for Science platform. That is the sort of core of the project scientific framework, which I will be briefly show you in a few minutes. And then the same platform will be used as an educational tool to enhance the visitor scientific understanding and environmental awareness. At least this is the idea. And finally, all of this will hopefully lead to a better community engagement. So in particular, the main idea is basically that every fishing trip that we do will be also part of a scientific survey. And yeah, allowed me to define this as sort of, I call it ASCO model, because in a sense is that it's similar to the experience that the master student have during courses on ASCO, where for a week they just became part of the research team under, of course, our guidance. So basically, the idea is to have a survey at sea that is performed with rod and reel, with a random stratified sampling design across 5 main areas of this fjord system. And we will collect basic but essential data on fish population and environmental parameters. And yeah, remember, of course, that we have to keep the task simple because after all, tourists are here for vacation. So of course, then in the future, we can also evolve and expand the sampling part. But yeah, we can maybe talk this more in details later if you have some ideas that I for sure will be stealing from you. Then the idea is that every fish that we measure and record goes through the scientific part workflow of the Real for Science Shiny app. So from the concept is from going to raw data visualization to, let's say, stock assessment and management advice in theory. And again, quick note that this tool will be primarily used as an educational interface for visitor and student. So don't expect, of course, a ready-to-use management advice directly from this. So yeah, I repeat it again, educational use only. So, but anyway, the idea is that the data collected and stored could anyway be used in other scientific context and project. Just very quick. I want to show you how right now the app workflow is divided. So we have 4 sections. Section 1 that is just the raw data and visualization. So here we can have basic plots about catch composition, LFDs, environmental variables, and others. And for example, possible implementation could be if we had time and resource, of course, to collect otolith, then we can also implement some grow analysis like grow curve. Then we have section 2 that is about fishery science, let's say, metrics indicators. And here we have some basic indicators commonly used in fishery science, such as abundance indices, size-based indicators, and, way more can be implemented. The third section is about the analytical assessment tools. So let's say the juicy part. So here we can have a quantitative model to estimate fish stock status, like for example, yield per recruit analysis or even complete stock assessment model. So right now I implemented in the app this AMSY, that is a so-called data pool model that can be run usually mainly fishery independent data and some priors. So in theory, it's perfect for our scope here. But of course, more and complex and advanced model can be also implemented in the future if more commercial fishery data will be available. And the last section is section 4, so ecosystem approach to fishery. So here for now I just put some basic environmental influence analysis, let's call it, via GAMS to see, for example, we can see the effect of temperature or salinity or tidal level on the catches. And of course, all these environmental parameters are all measurements that we plan to collect at sea during the fishing trips. And of course, maybe I didn't say it, but as you can see now, it's just simulated data. So it's not data that we already collected. These are just simulated data that I put in the app just to try it. So in theory, this initiative, this project, ACCESS-Fjord, fully aligned with ACCESS and EU, European Union calls for standardized, continuous marine recreational fishery data collection to support fishery and ecosystem-based advice. And moreover, we intend also to generate a resolution year-round data that can also be used in support, for example, of marine spatial planning. Why not? But how? Providing, let's say, innovative science-driven experience for the tourist and also otherwise for student. And if successful, of course, this can be a scalable model to other fjords or other also ecosystem. So here, just a quick first year optimistic timeline. So as you can see, we are now in October, so we are in phase 2 acting, where we'll be applying for national and regional funds for startup. And also we are renovating facilities to welcome our guests. We are doing some marketing surveys, not to be confounded with the scientific survey. And also we are outreaching to the scientific community. That I guess is exactly what I'm trying to do now. So thanks again, Maria, of course, for the opportunity. And we plan then to open for the public for our first season in theory in summer 2026 to actively start collecting the data. And then hopefully next autumn, I would like to present some of these preliminary results in some relevant conference, such as the ACCESS Annual Conference or EMBS, the European Marine Biology Symposium, or even, other working group from ACCESS that could be nice to show. And then, of course, sky is the only limit, or better, seafloor for us is the only limit. Even though, you can also, maybe with some sediment sampling, you can also go below there. But we can discuss it more now. For example, we have want to open for collaboration opportunities, of course, because as I said, right now we are just planning to collect basic essential data on, for example, fish length, species, weight, some maybe temperature and salinity, very simple environmental data. But in case someone is interested in the project and want to share part of our pizza, we can basically implement whatever is feasible, of course, from, eggs larva survey, because as I said before, this is very important nursery area for cod and other species. We can do environmental DNA, that is very trendy right now. Hydroacoustic transect, of course, if we have a good echo sounder, sediment sampling, water quality, algal bloom monitoring, etc., etc. On the other side, we can also collaborate through, for example, internship or thesis project for master student, and organizing master courses or summer school, following again the ASCO model, more or less, or otherwise also hosting a specific workshop. But yeah, again, basically we are open to every good ideas that people have in mind, feasible idea, of course. So yeah, that was more or less everything. So here I leave you just some reference for that I use. But most importantly, yeah, I will leave you with this final slide with some link and QR codes. You can go and check our project page on our website that I'm developing right now, or otherwise in the middle you can go directly on the app, the Shiny app, to play with it if you want. And the last one, also, if you have time, we would like you to take this 5 minutes market questionnaire to help us, of course, in creating this sort of experience for the visitors. And of course, this is made for a generalistic audience, but I mean, we will be happy to also hear from you, more a scientific part. And of course, if you want, you can also join our waiting list for next summer opening. That will be available. I think it's already available on the homepage on the website, or is also at the end of the project description page. And in case, of course, we'll be happy to welcome you next year if everything goes as ahead as planned, of course. And yes, that's it. Thank you. And of course, and if you want to also follow us on Instagram, it would be very nice for further updates. And I think that's it. Thank you very much for the attention.